Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mock Man at YouTube with another model review. Today we'll be taking a look, build and finish the S model 172nd Jagdpanther tank destroyer. The largest, near the end of the Second World War tank destroyer made by Nazi Germany. Quite big, interesting profile. One of the few German tanks I am vaguely interested in. Quite heavily armoured with quite a pack. Not too many of them were built, yet their effectiveness in combat were questionable. S model being one of my favourite brands, we are greeted with the usual this late in the series, 2 model kits per box. The instructions in box giving quite a bit of information, the box art giving you a rough size and colour guide of what the kit will look like and size be. A bit of a range and idea of what paint you need to buy in the back as if you're in the hobby shop picking up the kit itself. All laid out for maximum convenience in choosing it over other 72nd subjects with a very basic no thrills design until you actually tack into the model itself, meaning the chances of being disappointed are quite minimal. Within the box we are greeted with one gigantic set of runners, one sheet of photo etch, and just very basic German cross decals. The decals are mostly more interesting in your Eastern European, Asian subjects, especially the French and British. The German decals are always quite boring, but that goes with the territory of the subject. But with boring German decals comes with interesting Girls and Panzer schemes and decals as well. Having a look at the hull straight off the bat, it has some wonderful detail, single piece. Sliding molds must be really getting somewhere, and almost snap-esque quality. Immediately we've got the side armour virtually just coming together, and the wheels practically in one piece. Absolutely amazing for a kit with road wheels this complicated. Other brands you would be spending a good half an hour to an hour on that step alone. The tracks are a bit something to clean up with sandpaper, grinding out every groove, but the sheer fact that it's all in one piece and molded already perfectly makes up so much time and enjoyment. The accuracy and attention to detail is just absolutely wonderful. All the pieces slip into place very, very cozily. No putty is really recommended. I do find a bit of a gap in the side armour and the rear armour plate. Being told, historically, this is quite accurate. There were quite largest gaps in the vehicle itself, according to the drawings and existing examples. Going for a more anime accurate finish, that bothered me a bit as a modeler, so a bit of putty was bogged up in those areas and sand back using Squadron. All that done and said, insanely quick build, came together in a mere couple of hours. Quite plain, quite a bit of options for modifying, giving extra stowage, tools, equipment, whatnot. There is a nice armour-fast German stowage set that you can buy with helmets and rifles and whatnot. That would be quite cool. But if you're looking for more of a challenge, this kit just comes together far too well, far too easily, far too quickly. You may want to look for something else. If you want to dig straight into the painting, this build is just wonderful. Absolutely love the speed of it. That added, the photo etch also applied very, very nicely with some PVA glue via toothpick. Painting wise, everything was primed using Gaia Note oxidized red, a fairly appropriate undercoat for armour, especially of the period. I painted the bottom, waited for it to dry, then dusted on the top. Going for a Girls and Panzer theme, same camouflage, different choice of colours. They were swapped with pink and white, still using the desert yellow main base. Gaia Note and Mr. Hobby were utilised, as well as blue tack as mask. Blue tack's quite nice. You just have to make sure that you really spray into every nook and cranny, or you'll get a bit of a feathered effect. The tank tracks were painted in metallic black acrylic and gunmetal. The little machine gun surplus tank tracks were also painted. A bit of black soot was dusted on via airbrush around the engine vents, covers, and the barrel of the gun. Very little weathering is done going for that whole anime thing. Just a slight sludge wash, gloss coat, and decals put over it, which were custom printed for me. After the decals were applied and there was a tiny sludge wash, everything was coated in Tamiya matte clear a couple of times to cut back the sheen. The edging was done over with weathering pastel pencils by Mr. Hobby or Mr. Color. In the end, and I have to admit it, being very clean, not too much my style in armor building at the moment. No shading or light touch-ups or anything. Though the decals just really bring it out. I love the whole anime look of it. Doing the Girls and Panzer custom decals was completely worthwhile. A bit troublesome trying to find someone to print them out, download the pictures, tell them what dimensions I want each symbol to be. I find between 4 and 6 mil wide is ideal for the smaller tankettes, medium tanks. Larger ones you get a tad bigger. These are pretty massive at almost 14 to 16 mil, but this is quite a large tank. Thinking of a bit of a flagship piece outside of the Mouse or King Tiger. The colour scheme in the armour is definitely not canon. There has been 1 or 2 tiny mistakes made, though the reception's been pretty well taken. It's quite popular. Really enjoyed this piece. Definitely recommend just, freeballing it and having a good time. Use your imagination loosely towards the cannon or just go absolutely off the rails. Can't express too much on how much I've enjoyed it. I've got a massive new bundle of Girls and Panzer decals and will be pumping a fair amount more sometime in the future. I recommend others have a go at it. It's just too much fun. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for more armor builds, gunpla tutorials, 3D printing, airbrushing, you name it, and I still got a ton more S model to pump out. Catch you guys later and keep modeling.